Welcome back to the new show. My name's Random Rob. After my last episode where I did kind of a grab bag, I thought I'd streamline it this week and talk about an indie game that came out in 2018 that I still think is pretty amazing. The game is called Scavenger SV-4. The developer's name is Derek Rull. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. His company is called HorrorArch. From what I can tell, he is a lone programmer and developer. And there's just a certain feeling you get when you play a game that's designed by a single person that's unlike any other AAA experience. I don't know if it's a feeling of love or the whole thing being handcrafted or knowing that this one person, stayed up nights sweating over the game, but it really comes across in Scavenger SV-4. The scenario of the game is this. You are in orbit over a planet where an alien spacecraft has exploded and left a stream of wreckage on the surface. Being the first explorer to reach this planet, you're the first one to get on site and recover some of this wreckage. You do this by sending an unmanned rover down to the surface of the planet and navigating around through a grainy black and white video interface on your main monitor in the cockpit of your ship. And there is time pressure in the game. The planet you are orbiting is heavily irradiated, so you are constantly picking up radiation sickness, which you have to scrub off in your ship's medical bay using a scanner interface. In addition, anytime you recover any technology and bring it up to the ship, you're getting an even heavier dose of radiation. So you constantly have to be making trips to the med bay to avoid dying or seriously injuring yourself. In addition to the rover and your main heads-up display in the cockpit, your ship also has different computer readouts for the different areas of the ship, which all do something. Sometimes individual computer consoles will go down because of the radiation, and you'll have to head to engineering and manually reboot them. It's especially important if your life support computer goes down. When your rover comes into its docking bay, you have to manually unload it to the science computer. You have to select each object to analyze it. And there's also a crew cabin where you can play music or read journal entries by you, the main character. And there's also a cargo bay and an airlock. You can put on a spacesuit and walk around outside the ship if you want to. There's no real reason to, but you can do it anyway, which is the kind of detail in a game that I love. And probably the best part of the whole experience is every time you play Scavenger SV-4, the details of the planet are reshuffled. You get a different log entry with a different backstory for your character. Sometimes you're an archaeologist, sometimes you're a junk hauler. Sometimes the planet is a planet, sometimes it's a comet. In addition, surface details change as well. Sometimes you'll encounter manifestations of lightning. Some of the planets will have hostile organisms on them, or robots, I can't quite tell. During one playthrough of the game, I had left all the doors open and didn't realize that a creature had gotten aboard the rover, and I brought it onto the ship and it killed me. Derek Rull clearly loves movies like Alien and Outland. All of the design and look of the game and the way the computer consoles work has that nerfy 1970s analog feel that those movies have. And it works really well here. It forces you to travel around the ship and use the different computers with their limited functionality. It sounds tedious, but it completely works with the feel of the game. In addition, the planet that you're exploring, there's usually a central mystery to the wreckage that you find, so that the further you go, the more critical items you can uncover. And I haven't even talked about how you can trick out your rover, because every single piece of hardware on it can be swapped out with new hardware that you find. Although it can be difficult to decide which things to leave on the rover and which not to. The microphone, for example, doesn't seem like it would be very important, except it's really the only way to detect incoming fire, especially if it's coming from behind you. Yes, things on the surface will eventually start shooting at your rover, different automated defenses you come across. I really can't recommend this game enough. I was geeking out so much when I was playing it, I started thinking about sound effects and music tracks I would like to add to it. As the music and sound, I think, are the only real rough parts of the game that could use maybe some tweaks. This is a game I can't wait to see what, if any, additions and improvements get made to it by the developer, because I'm really looking forward to that. A technical note, if you're downloading it on Steam and you're using Windows software, the program itself is very small. It's another thing that makes me geek out. I love compact programming, but during the download there is an executable in the game which will trigger a Trojan warning for some antivirus and will shut down the game from completing its download. I've installed and uninstalled this game multiple times. I've never had a problem with this package. You just have to make sure to turn off your antivirus when you download it. After that, it's not a problem, but it will trip certain antivirus programs. The game plays ideally with keyboard and mouse, although there are plenty of customization options if you want to use a joypad. I like playing games with a joypad just because of my computer setup. It just makes it easier. And while it does take me a little longer to navigate the menus, I do enjoy controlling the rover with a joystick a lot more than with a keyboard. Yeah, Scavenger SV-4. If you're into deep space isolation and exploration, feeling like you're on your own functional spaceship, this is definitely one to pick up. Alrighty, that's all for now. This is Random Rob. I will see you next time here at the new show. If you liked what you heard, be sure to press the like button and subscribe, and consider becoming a patron. Alright guys, see you next time. Bye-bye.